It's time for a spelling analysis. And today we get to use two multi-letter phonograms. This says J. Notice this phonogram follows the rule G may soften to J before an E, I, or Y. And you'll also notice that in this phonogram, I is part of the multi-letter phonogram J. It is not a vowel here. Our second phonogram is J, Z. Can you say that with me? J, Z. Notice, again, for this first sound J, G may soften to J before an E, I, or Y. And the E is not a vowel here. It is part of the phonogram saying J or Z. Be watching for these in our spelling list today. The first word is medal. Did you win a medal? Go ahead and say medal. How many syllables? Two. We will say to spell med-al. What will we say to spell? Med-al. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is med. M-e-d. The second syllable is al. A-ul. Go ahead and write med-al, sounding it out as you write it. And help me to write it. The first syllable is med, m-e-d. The second syllable is al, a-ul. And let's read it. M-e-d-a-ul, medal. The next word is medalist. Ava was the gold medalist. Go ahead and say medalist. How many syllables in medalist? Three. We will say to spell med-al-ist. What will we say to spell? Med-al-ist. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is med. M-e-d. The second syllable is al. A-ul. The third syllable is ist. Is. Use a s-z. T. Go ahead and write med-al-ist, sounding it out as you write it. And help me to write it. The first syllable is med. M-e-d. The second syllable is al. A-ul. The third syllable is ist. Ist. And how do we mark it? There's nothing to mark, but what do you notice about the word medal and medalist? They both have the word medal in it. And what is someone who is a medalist? It is someone who in a competition performed well enough to receive a medal. So what is the suffix we added to medal to make medalist? Ist. Now I have a question for you. The word medalist or medal ends in one vowel followed by one consonant. And we are adding a vowel suffix. Why didn't we double the L? That's right, medalist. The stress is here. So we only double the last consonant if it ends in one vowel followed by one consonant and the syllable before the suffix is stressed. But here, it's a different syllable that's stressed, so we do not double that last consonant. All right, the next word is medallion. There was a gold medallion hidden in the park for them to find. Go ahead and say medallion. How many syllables in medallion? Three. We will say to spell me-dal-lion. What will we say to spell? Me-dal-lion. All right, I'm exaggerating it. Let's go ahead and sound it out. The first syllable is me. M-e. The second syllable is dal. D-a-ul. The third syllable is lion. Ul. Ya. Use an I-E-ya. A-n. Me-dal-lion. You've got it. Go ahead and write it. And once again, I'm exaggerating it so you can hear it. Help me to write it. The first syllable is me. M-e. The second syllable is dal. D-a-ul. The third syllable is lion. U-ya-a-n. Lion. It's kind of hard to say that when you're exaggerating it. All right, let's talk about this word. Why did the E say its long sound? A, E, O, U usually say their long sounds at the end of the syllable. But we don't say medallion, we say medallion. So what's going on there? Any vowel may say one of its schwa sounds, or I, in an unstressed syllable. And this is not stressed. We even know it's not stressed because we hear the schwa sound. Now, what do you notice about the word medallion? You're right. It actually has the word medal in it. Now, we added the suffix ion. Why did we double the L? Well, medal ends in one vowel followed by one consonant, and this syllable is stressed. Medallion. You can feel your mouth drop open. Medallion. This is stressed, so then we're going to double the last consonant. What sound of I, E, Y do you hear in medallion? You hear the fourth sound. It's saying its consonant sound, medallion. And you hear that even when you don't exaggerate it. All right, great work. Let's read it. E, D, A, O, Y, A, N, medallion. The next word is marvel. The new stadium is an engineering marvel. Go ahead and say marvel. How many syllables? 2. We will say to spell marvel. What will we say to spell? Marvel. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is mar. R. The second syllable is vel. V-E-L. Go ahead and write marvel, sounding it out as you write it. And help me to write it. The first syllable is mar. R. The second syllable is vel. V-E-L. And how will we mark it? Well, underline the R. Let's read it. M-R-V-E-L. Marvel. All right, the next word is related. It's marvelous. That was a marvelous movie. Marvelous. So I have a question for you. First of all, how many syllables in marvelous? 3. And what is the root word of marvelous? It's marvel. Very good. And you notice that marvel ends in one vowel followed by one consonant. What is the suffix we are adding to marvel to make marvelous? We're adding us, which is an ow, o, u, s. And that suffix us means full of. So we're adding the suffix us, and does the suffix us begin with a vowel? It does. So what do we need to know? We have all the pieces we need to spell the word marvelous already, don't we? We have marvel and us, which is ow, o, u, s, which is a s. So what do we need to know? It ends in one vowel followed by one consonant. And where is the stress? Marvelous. It's here. So will we double the last consonant? No. Go ahead and write the word marvelous based on what we've just discussed. And if you need a little help with the syllables, it will be marvel us. You got it? Marvel us. Excellent. And help me to write it. The first syllable is mar, r. The second syllable is vel, v-e-l. The third syllable is us, us. And how will we mark it? We'll underline the R and we'll underline the And what sound of ow, o, u, is this? It's the fourth sound, And there you go. Once again, marvelous means full of marvel. Us means full of. And which syllable is stressed? Marvelous. It's the mar. So that's why we did not double the L, because you need the syllable before the suffix stressed if you're going to double the last consonant. Let's read it. M-R-V-E-L-U-S. Marvelous. That was marvelous work. See, the point of spelling analysis is to help you be able to sound out words and break them down on your own. So it was great to see you Write this word with the suffix without sounding it all out with me. The next word is impossible. I think this math problem is impossible. Go ahead and say impossible. How many syllables in impossible? 4. We will say to spell impossible. What will we say to spell? Impossible. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is im. The second syllable is pos. P-a-s. Use a s. The third syllable is si. S-i. Use an I-E. The third syllable is bull. B-ul. Silent finally. Go ahead and write impossible. Impossible. Excellent. And help me to write it. The first syllable is im. The second syllable is pos. P-a-s. The third syllable is si. S-i. And then bull. B-ul. Silent finally. Why do we have a silent E in impossible? Every syllable must have a vowel. Very good. And here we have the I. Why did the I say I? I and Y may say I or I at the end of the syllable. Do you see another word in the word impossible? It's the word possible. That is possible, meaning that could happen. What does impossible mean? That's not able. That's not possible. The prefix im means not. So when you see an im, remember that means not something. The next word is conversation. We should have a conversation about that. Go ahead and say conversation. How many syllables in conversation? 4. We will say to spell conversation. What will we say to spell? Conversation. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is con. K. Use a k. S. A. N. The second syllable is ver. V. The of her. And then say. S. Use a s. Z. A. Shan. Sh. Use a tall sh. A. N. Go ahead and write conversation. Sound it out as you write it. Conversation. And help me to write it. The first syllable is con. K, a, n. Ver, v, say, s, a, shan. Sh, a, n. And how will we mark it? We'll underline the We'll put a line over the A, conversation. Why did the A say its long sound? A, E, O, U usually say their long sounds at the end of the syllable. And we'll underline the sh. Let's read it. K, a, n, s, a, sh, a, n. Conversation. Excellent. The next word is qualify. The top 3 finishers will qualify for the next race. Qualify. Go ahead and say qualify. How many syllables? 3. We will say to spell qual-i-fy. What will we say to spell? Qual-i-fy. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is qual. Qu, a, a, ul. The second syllable is I. Use an I-E-ya. The last syllable is phi. I. Use a I-E. Go ahead and write qual-i-fy, sounding it out as you write it. Qual-i-fy. And help me to write it. The first syllable is qual. Qu, a, ul. Second syllable is I. And then phi. I. How will we mark it? We'll underline the qu. And what sound of a do you hear in qualify? It's the broad sound. And what is the I saying? It's saying I. Why? I and Y may say I or I at the end of the syllable. Now here's a question for you. Why is this saying its long sound I? Why is it not saying E? Let's find out where's the stress. Qualify. Do you hear how phi is stressed? So this syllable, qualify, is stressed. And it says its E sound only at the end of a multi-syllable word in an unstressed syllable. But here it's stressed, so it is saying I. Excellent. The next word is qualification. What is the most important qualification for the job? Qualification. All right, how many syllables in qualification? All right. 5. All right, we will say to spell qualification. What will we say to spell? Qualification. You got it? What is the root of qualification, by the way? It's qualify. That's right. So, and what do we need to know when we're writing qualification? So we need to know that the Y changes to I when adding any ending unless the ending begins with I. Let's sound it out. Qualification. So that sound before that comes after here. Qualification. It's a k, right? So what are we going to do? We're going to change this to an I. All right, let's sound it out. Qualification. All right, first syllable is qual. Qua, a, ul, use an I, E, ya. F, use an I, E, ya. K, use a k, s, a. Sean, sh, tall sh, n. All right, you've got this. Qualification. And remember that the Y changes to I when adding any ending unless the ending begins with I. Qualification. All right, help me to write it. The first syllable is qual. Qua, a, ul, I, f, k, sh, n. It's hard to fit it on. It's so big. That's how much you're learning, that you can write this word and you can understand every phonogram and rule within it. Let's mark it. We'll underline the qua. It's saying it's broad, sound. I is saying I in an unstressed syllable. I is saying I in an unstressed syllable. A, qualificate, that's saying it's long sound because A, E, O, U usually say they're long sounds at the end of the syllable. And here we have the sh sound. Look at that. Let's read it. Qua, a, ul, if, ik, a, sh, n. Qualification. And once again, the Y from qualify changed to an I when adding any ending that doesn't begin in I. So there you go. Great work. The next word is dictionary. Please look up the word in the dictionary. Go ahead and say dictionary. How many syllables in dictionary? 4. So we will say to spell dick, Sean, a, re. What will we say to spell? Dick, Sean, a, re. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is dick, d, I, k. Use a k, s. Sean, sh. Use a tall sh, n. A, re, e. That's right. It's a ya, I, e. Go ahead and write dick, Sean, a, re. Dick, Sean, a, re. And help me to write it. First syllable is dick, d, I, k. Sean, sh, n, a, re, e. How will we mark it? We'll underline the sh, put a line over the A. Why did it say it's long sound? A, E, O, U usually say they're long sounds at the end of the syllable. And we'll put a 4 over the Y saying ya, I, E. It's saying it's forced sound because it's in an unstressed syllable at the end of a multi-syllable word. Let's read it. D, E, K, Sh, A, N, A, E. Dictionary. Excellent. The next word is religion. Their religion is important to them. Religion. Go ahead and say religion. How many syllables? 3. We will say to spell re-li-jon. What will we say to spell? Re-li-jon. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is re, e. Second syllable is li, I, using I, E, ya. The third syllable is John, j. And we're going to use this advanced phonogram, j, a, n. Go ahead and write re-li-jon. Re-li-jon. And help me to write it. The first syllable is re, e. Second syllable is li, I, and then John, j, a, n. And how will we mark it? We'll put a line over the E. Why did it say it's long sound? A, E, O, U usually say they're long sounds at the end of the syllable. And the I is saying it because I and Y may say I or I at the end of the syllable. And we'll underline the J. Let's read it. E, O, I, J, A, N, religion. Notice the G is softening to J because of that I in the advanced phonogram, but it's not a vowel. It's not creating another syllable, and it doesn't have another sound. Excellent. The next word is concentrate. We will need to concentrate carefully while we do this painting. Go ahead and say concentrate. How many syllables in concentrate? 3. We will say to spell con-cen-trate. What will we say to spell? Con-cen-trate. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is con. K. Use a k. S. A, n. The second syllable is sen. S. Use a k. S. E, n. Trait. T. A, t. Silent final E. Go ahead and write con-cen-trate, sounding it out as you write it. Con-cen-trate. And help me to write it. The first syllable is con, k, a, n, sen, s, e, n, trait, t, a, t. Silent final E. How do we mark it? Now, what do you notice? The C is saying S. Why? Why is it saying its second sound? C always softens to S before an E, I, or Y. And then why do we have a silent E in concentrate? The vowel said its long sound because of the E. Let's read it. K, a, n, s, e, n, t, a, t. Concentrate. The next word is gorgeous. That is a gorgeous view. Go ahead and say gorgeous. How many syllables? 2. We will say to spell gorgeous. What will we say to spell? Gorgeous. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is gore. G, or. The second syllable is just. J. And we will use this advanced phonogram that says j, z. Us. Use an ow, o, u, s. Go ahead and write gorgeous, sounding it out as you write it. And help me to write it. Gore, g, or, just, j, s. And how will we mark it? We'll underline the or and the j and the And what sound of ow, o, u, do you hear in gorgeous? It's the fourth. Excellent. Let's read it. G, or, j, us, gorgeous. The next word is decide. Tell me when you decide what color you'd like. Decide. Go ahead and say decide. How many syllables in decide? 2. We will say to spell decide. What will we say to spell? Decide. The first syllable is D, D-E. The second syllable is side, S. Use a K, S. I, use an I-E, yeah, D. Silent final E. Go ahead and write decide, sounding it out as you write it. And tell me to write it. The first syllable is D, D-E. Second syllable is side, S-I-D. Silent final E. How do we mark it? We'll put a line over the E. Why did it say it's long sound? A, E, O, U usually say their long sounds at the end of the syllable. Why did the C soften to S? C always softens to S before an E, I, or Y. And why do we have a silent E? The vowel said its long sound because of the E. Let's read it. D-E-S-I-D, decide. The last word is decision. Tell me when you've made your decision. Go ahead and say decision. How many syllables in decision? 3. We will say to spell D-C-Jean. What will we say to spell? D-C-Jean. By the way, the word decision is related to the word decide, isn't it? That's right. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is D, D-E, and then S, use a K, S, I, use an I-E, yeah. And then Jean, J, use a sh, J, N. Go ahead and write D-C-Jean. D-C-Jean. And tell me to write it. The first syllable is D, D-E, and then S, I, and then Jean, J, N. And how will we mark it? We'll put a line over the E. It said its long sound because A, E, O, U usually say their long sounds at the end of the syllable. And the C softened to S because of the I, D, S. And once again, I and Y may say what? I or I at the end of the syllable. And here you hear zh. What sound of sh, zh is it? It's its second sound, its voice sound. Now, what do you notice about the word decide and the word decision? They are related. When you decide something, you make a decision. Why did we use the phonogram sh, zh in decision? Because decide, d, is a voiced sound. So when we're adding the suffix ion, it turns into the sound zh, decision. And this is the Latin spelling of zh. Excellent. Great work today. These are some really interesting words that you have learned to read and how to spell.
Combining the science of reading with the joy of learning. Learn more at essentials.logicoфenglish.com.